Welcome to our series, English Learning Through Stories. Today, we will listen to the story of THhäCH SANH, a very kind and brave guy who was willing to sacrifice his life for others. Join me in discovering how he went from a woodcutter to the king of a country. Are you ready? Let's begin.
Once upon a time, there was a woodcutter couple living in KHÓA district. The couple were old and had no children. The couple were very worried and tried their best to help people. They repaired sewers, built roads, and cooked water for passerbys. Being moved by the couple's love, the Jade Emperor allowed the Crown Prince to reincarnate as a son of the THhäCH family. The wife eventually got pregnant. However, conception lasted for 3 years, and unfortunately, the husband passed away before the child was born. After that, the wife gave birth to a handsome boy and named him THhäCH SANH. A few years later, the wife also passed away. THhäCH SANH lived alone in a hut under the banyan tree with a piece of loin cloth and a wood-cutting hammer. When THhäCH SANH was 13 years old, the Jade Emperor sent the fairy down to teach him martial arts and all kinds of miracles. One day, a liquor seller named TIòng passed by and rested at the root of the banyan tree. When he saw that THhäCH SANH was strong, agile, and lived alone, he struck a brotherly bond and brought THhäCH SANH home. At that time, there was a monster python in the neighborhood who frequently caught people eating flesh. The soldiers tried to surround and attack it many times, but they all failed. The king had to build a temple and sacrifice one person's life every year for it. That year was TIong's turn to submit himself. He and his mother conspired to make THhäCH SANH die in his place. That night, TIòng begged THhäCH SANH to guard the temple for him because he was too busy. Without a doubt, THhäCH SANH gladly accepted and left immediately. Tin appeared at midnight and hurried into the temple to attack THhäCH SANH. THhäCH SANH calmly fought with Tin. Finally, he cut off its head and burned its body into charcoal. Seeing a set of shining golden bows and arrows, THhäCH SANH excitedly brought a hammer, wore a bow, and carried the monster python's head straight home. Hearing THhäCH SANH's call, TIòng and his mother panicked, thinking that THhäCH SANH's soul had returned to take revenge, so they begged for their lives. THhäCH SANH was now aware of what kind of person TIòng and his mother were, but he was not upset and still told them the story of killing Tin. TIòng came up with a new malicious plot. He said that the monster was the king's treasure, and whoever killed it would hardly survive. Then he told THዔCH SANH to escape to a safe place, and he would take care of the rest by himself. Believing in TIong's words, THዔCH SANH returned to live under the old banyan tree. Meanwhile, TIong went to the capital and told the king that he had killed Chan Tin. The king was very pleased and gave him the title of Duke of Admiral. At that very moment, Princess quyền, the king's daughter, reached the age of marriage. The king wanted to create a competition to find a talented and virtuous husband for his daughter, but after months he still could not find a good son-in-law. One day the princess was walking in the peach garden when a huge eagle swooped down and took her away. Seeing a bird carrying a girl, THዔCH SANH immediately raised his bow and shot. Even though the eagle was hit by an arrow, it still managed to fly back to its lair. THዔCH SANH followed the blood trail and found the monster's whereabouts. The king immediately sent TIong to find the princess. If he found her, he would become the king's son-in-law. Otherwise, he would be punished. TIong opened a singing festival to search for news everywhere. Until the 10th day, THዔCH SANH came to participate in the festival and told TIong about how he shot an eagle. TIong was relieved and urged him to take the soldiers to the cave right away. THዔCH SANH used a rope ladder down the cave to meet the princess and gave the eagle an anesthetic to drink. The princess promised to marry THዔCH SANH. Then he tied a rope to bring her to the ground. TIong gave orders for soldiers to bring the princess back to the palace first. Then he used rocks to block the cave entrance and stop THዔCH SANH from escaping. After that, he returned to the capital and took all of the credit. Waiting forever and not seeing THዔCH SANH return, the princess became mute because of her grief. The wedding was also postponed. THዔCH SANH in the cave not only killed the eagle, but also saved the crown prince of King Thuy. When he returned to Thuy, the king was very happy to see his son again and wanted to give THዔCH SANH a lot of gold and jade in return for saving the crown prince's life, but he refused, just asking for a zither instead. The spirits of Chan Tin and the dead eagle met and planned to harm THዔCH SANH. They sneaked into the king's warehouse to steal wealth and bury it under the root of the banyan tree to slander THዔCH SANH, causing him to be arrested and sent to prison. Sitting in prison, THዔCH SANH took out the zither to play and its sound reached the princess's ears. Hearing the zither, the princess woke up. She talked and laughed, and then told the king everything. The king immediately ordered the release of THhäCH SANH and imprisoned Li Tong. After that, THhäCH SANH and the princess got married, and the king also passed the throne to him. In the end, THhäCH SANH still spared Li Tong and his mother to return to their hometown to do business. But halfway back, they were struck by lightning. Hearing that the princess was married to THhäCH SANH, the princes of the vassal countries were extremely angry, and they dragged their troops to cause trouble. But when they listened to the sound of THhäCH SANH's zither, suddenly the soldiers of the 18 countries lost the will to fight and finally decided to withdraw. THhäCH SANH invited them to eat rice. He had a small magical pot of rice that no matter how many bowls were stored, the rice was still full, making the vassal countries even more respectful.
That is all for today. Thank you for joining me. Now, let's like, share and subscribe to BingGo Leaders YouTube channel for more English stories in the future. Goodbye everyone, see you next time.